Chelsea's first game of the Premier League season is in the books. A 2-0 defeat to Manchester City. A disappointing result, but one that I think perhaps we kind of expected. I think we would have been really happy with a draw or even a win. But the loss, I don't think is the end of the world. I don't think it's something that we should be panicking about as Chelsea fans right now, because we have a nice run of fixtures coming now, and we've arguably played our hardest game of the season, or one of them, in the first game, and it's out of the way. So it's now time to look at the ups and downs from this game. I'm going to choose some things that I thought were good or I enjoyed, and some things that were not so impressive. Before we do get into it, make sure to leave a like on this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It will be massively, massively appreciated. So then, it's now time for 2 ups and 3 downs from Chelsea 0, Manchester City 2. Let's start with the downs, and I've chosen 3, even though I don't think there was particularly much wrong with the performance. There's just these sort of 3 things that I noticed that I think could do with some work going into the remaining games of the season. The first one is unfortunately going to be Robert Sanchez. I always try to back Rob. I think I've said in the past that he's a really good shot stopper, and I do believe that. I think he made 1 or 2 good saves, but one with his feet and even rolling the ball out, he just makes some really, really poor decisions. And I don't know why. I really don't know why, because there's moments like the one that led in the end to the Kovacic goal, where he's rolled it out to Malo Gusto, who's just in no position to receive it. I know the manager's encouraging us to play it out from the back, but sometimes I think you've just got to make a better choice. And also with the Kovacic goal, he absolutely should have done better. To get a hand to a shot like that and not push it around the post or parry it out is very, very poor in my books. I think the fact that he even dived with just one hand is strange to me. I feel like it would have been a perfect one for a 2-handed dive, but he wasn't able to. He got a hand on it and it went off the post and in. So yeah, just a bit disappointed with Rob Sanchez overall, and I feel like definitely in the game against Servette on Thursday, Jorgensen's going to get a chance, and if he plays really well, then I see no reason why he shouldn't be getting some more game time in the Premier League as well. So the next down for me then is going to be Enzo Fernandez. I really was disappointed with Enzo in this game. Considering last week I gave him an up for the Inter Milan game, I thought he played really well and he was in that sort of deeper role, but today he was deployed behind the strikers almost as sort of a number 10 in a sense, like an 8/10, and I just didn't think it works. I do not think Enzo Fernandez high up the pitch is a good match. I think he presses alone too often, and this is something Gary Neville highlighted on commentary. He presses alone and then sort of turns around and gets annoyed, but clearly he's pressing at times when it's perhaps not intelligent to be pressing, especially not as the number 10. If you're the striker, then maybe I get it, but as the number 10, if you go and press and they play around you, then we're lacking a man in the middle. So things like that really frustrate me. Just the all-round performance as well, I don't think it was horrendous, but I just know that we can expect so much better from Enzo Fernandez, and it's not entirely his fault being played in that position. I'm sure that's not where he would rather play, but yeah, I don't really want to see too much of that in future. The final down that I've gone for is going to be just the goals, the nature of the goals we conceded. I don't think the first one was so bad, because like I mentioned in my TikTok, this is Erling Haaland we're talking about. He is out and out the best striker in the world. So in a situation like that, which is always going to happen in a game when you're playing against Erling Haaland, he's going to get chances. You know, you can't do an awful lot. It's just, you just sort of wish that we could have. You wish that Colwill could have got a more sort of imposing foot in there. He could have tried to get in the way a bit more. It didn't feel like there was any chance ever of Colwill out-strengthening Haaland. And I know that Haaland is probably just stronger than him, but I feel like defenders we've had in the past, such as Thiago Silva, John Terry, Gary Cahill, they would have sort of just thrown themselves in the way of that to stop Haaland getting through. And I just feel like we don't have that sort of, whether it's an experience thing or if it's just the way Colwill plays, I don't know. I'm not criticising him because, like I say, it's Haaland and it was a good finish. But it would be nice if it could have been prevented. And then the second goal, I think that one was really poor. The midfield were honestly nowhere to be seen. Kovacic bypassed them with literally just one touch, and then smashed it in from the edge of the box. Obviously, again, like I said previously, Rob Sanchez should have done better. So now into the 2 ups, into a more positive spin on the game. And the first up is going to be that this game is out of the way. It's done and dusted. We now have a really nice run of, I think, 8 fixtures in a row. This is including the 2 Servette games, so 6 Premier League games where you would sort of expect us, in an ideal world, to be picking up, not maximum points maybe, but, you know, you could definitely make an argument for not losing any of those games. So I'm looking forward to this now. I think this is a really good chance for us to just continue honing the new system, because we didn't really get a chance to deploy it against City today because of the way they played. So against these sides that are not going to have so much of the ball, that are not going to control games, we are definitely going to be able to show what we've learned in pre-season and in training so far. So I'm excited for this run of fixtures, because I think it could really be a good springboard for the rest of the season. And the final up I'm going to go for is a player's performance, and that is Romeo Lavia. I thought he was brilliant in the middle, considering he's had a year out. It's his first Premier League start for Chelsea, his first game in the Premier League that he's played for more than 35 minutes in well over a year, and I think he did excellently well in that midfield. I was really shocked when he was brought off. I thought it would have been Enzo to come off, but it was Lavia, and I think, to be honest, we did look weaker when he was off the field. I've never been a fan of Caicedo and Enzo playing next to each other in a pivot, but I think Lavia and Caicedo, or even Lavia and Enzo, could be a really good option for us. I just don't see at this point how you can drop Romeo Lavia. I think it's got to be one of Enzo or Caicedo, because Lavia in pre-season was excellent, in this first game has been excellent, so I'm really excited to see what he can do for Chelsea for the rest of this season, because I think we have an absolute gem of a player in Romeo Lavia. So those are my ups and downs from Chelsea 0, Manchester City 2. Let me know in the comments your thoughts on these ups and downs. Do you have any specific ups or specific downs from the game that you want to mention? Put it in the comments and we can have a chat about it. Take care.